Bass guy.
Bonjour, ça va bien?
What's up, dude?
Bonjour, bass guy.
Bonjour, bass guy.
Bonjour. Hello, Rob. Hello, Slim. Hello,
Dude.
everyone.
I can't believe it's been since last season since we've
Wow.
spoken, my friend.
It's been a while, eh? It's been a few months, I think.
Yeah. Well, we had the summer off, and then we came back, and it's been a minute, my friend. How have you been?
Oh, I'm doing great so far. I'm doing great all the time.
all the time. And that's how we first connected, through the national treasure, Frank McDonald.
Yeah, Frankie's awesome, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's always great. We were just talking about that on break, how we just always have a blast. How's he doing? I mean, we'll talk to him in a little bit, but is he doing great?
Yeah, he's doing great. I'm sure you heard we put my little show there, Bass Guy Show. We put a GoFundMe together, and his fans got him a laptop.
Dude.
No matter what you do in this world, people are going to shit on you and hate you. And the first thing that happened was people wrote to us and said, there's no way that this is going to happen. It's too expensive. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's happening. He's getting it in a week.
He got it, right? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
awesome.
I even retweeted it once, and some troll came at me, and I just ignored him. I just did the Frankie thing. I just ignored him, dude.
Yeah.
Like, somebody was like, how much did you give? And I
It's
was
the
like,
internet and cynicism and trolls. No matter what you do, you could be helping an old granny and a little kid across the street, and someone's going to go, you asshole, man. How dare you do that?
Like, we've joked with Frankie. We do crazy shit with him, but no, I honestly love him, and I fucking want the best for him. And I retweeted it when it was going on. And somebody came at me hard.
Thank you.
And no, thank you, dude.
I didn't know this. Somebody came at you hard?
Yeah, like, what did you
A
donate?
few people,
And I
but
saw-
it doesn't matter. Frankie says just ignore the trolls and haters. So
I've honestly learned from Frankie. Like, I remember when we first had him on, one of the first few times he said that, and I've had it with that, and I've had it with a couple other things where I've just ignored them, and they just calm down. They just go away.
Something really interesting about Frankie, and something that really sticks in my head about Frankie is we first had Frankie on probably when we first started, and we didn't really know what we wanted to be, and we had another guy calling, and Frankie was on, and we were just making jokes the whole time, and then we hadn't heard from Frankie for 2 or 3 years, and then finally Frankie reached back out to us, and he was like, I love you guys, I want to be back on your show, and I thought that was great, and just the idea of back then, where we were a different show and it was a different people, and just for Frankie to kind of forgive us for fucking with us, for fucking with him back years ago, and he had developed and grown as a person, and that always had stood out to me as oh wow, this is awesome, and this person is really great, and because he didn't talk to us after we first interviewed him. Frankie didn't talk to us for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
okay.
And then,
No, you're right, Slim. He's what the world needs. He's positivity, and he's a great guy. He's really smart, and he's friendly, and he's nice to people. So
Yeah, he really is.
and
He
I
really
thought that
is.
was great, and I think that was in his development in starting out as a YouTube guy, and I think he got picked on a lot, and I think he went into isolation for a bit and realized no, I just have to embrace this, and I have to be nice too, and be friends with all these guys, and
what do you think it
Those
is?
are
What's the
great.
psychology behind people automatically lashing out, regardless of who or what or why? People jump at the chance to
I think
be
it's-
negative.
I think
jealousy.
it's-
I think it's jealousy.
I think it's just that they have the opportunity. Just everyone
Maybe.
will see what I
But-
wrote.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Rob. It's the internet, and it's just now the
Yeah.
audience is part of the show.
Yeah.
And I think it's jealousy because a lot
too.
of
I do
people are
agree.
trying to do their things. So here's Joe Smo, who's doing his fucking video game show. He's like, well, I spent 2 hours talking about Dark Souls, and I got 2 views, and Frankie McDonald just said a bunch of silly shit about the weather, and he's got
Weather.
24K
Yeah,
views.
he was withering.
We're all withering. We're all withering.
about the wither, and he got 24K views, and I think that's what it is. I think it's jealousy of that guy that's oh, I think I can be famous on YouTube, and he posts some dumb shit about a video
unboxed,
game.
Shopkins.
Yeah, I unboxed
it's Freudian
Shopkins,
stuff
and
that you develop
I
between the
think-
ages of 2 and 5, and it never leaves you.
Yeah, and I think it's Chelsea, and I think we always liked Frankie from the beginning.
Yes.
And I think it's just like Frankie kind of distanced himself for a couple of years because a lot of those people that were just like shitty about like, oh, Frankie's got like 4K views for just like talking about the weather, and like, well, what
It's his
about
personality.
me?
People
Yeah.
like him. He's sincere and real
Yeah.
and honest, and he's original. His comedy is 100% original.
Yes. Yes.
How many times is someone going to stand up on a stage with a brick wall behind them and do observational comedy? How
it's
long is a
amazing.
band going to go on stage and play 10 songs and then selling out? Like, the format has to change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyways, I'm just talking crap, but I like the guy before you. I heard
Oh.
you guys talking about the green M&M thing. You guys heard about that?
That was Slim. That was Slim.
What was, I don't remember.
About Gene
I'm-
Simmons.
I'm really drunk.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
it's bands from the 70s. They wanted to make sure that their management that was going to take care of them properly, they would put in a whole list of instructions, and one of them would be take away like only green M&Ms in the dressing room, and if they responded to it,
Who was that?
if they went to the dressing room and they saw green M&Ms in a bowl, they knew that the management was taking care of them because they paid attention to details.
What band was that? Was it?
Kiss.
It was Kiss.
Van
It
Halen,
was
too.
Kiss.
Van Halen
Yes.
went
It was
into his room, and
Van
apparently
Halen.
they didn't have the M&Ms ready, and I think he smashed up the green room.
Okay, I couldn't remember because I kind of confused it with Kiss. I know Gene Simmons is kind of a cunt
Dude, he
too.
is a total
He's done a
cunt.
lot of shitty things, so it was Van Halen that did the M&M things, but Gene Simmons did similar things.
That's one of my favorite movies. Is what's it called? Walk the Line. What-
Yes.
They make fun of like the whole way we idolize pop stars and shit.
Yes.
Walk Hard. Sorry, Walk Hard.
Okay. All
With
right.
the comedian who does Dr. Brule.
Yes.
What's his name again?
That's John C. Riley.
Yeah, John Riley. That's it. Yeah,
amazing.
Walk the Hard Line or something. It's just
Yes.
hilarious. It's funny.
Yes.
Hey man, I don't know if we've brought it up with you, but did you watch the Motley Crue like film that was made
Yes,
on
I did.
Netflix?
I think you guys brought it up
Yeah,
or something,
I
and I
think
went
so.
and watched it, and it was everyone was a prick back in the day, basically.
All right. Very interesting time, very different to what people responded to back then. And yeah, what did you think of that?
I liked it. I thought it was good. There's a lot of these recreations going on right now, but again, anyone who makes anything, my hat's off to them because everything's 1,000 times harder than spectators understand. I think.
Yeah. How has your show been, Bass Guy? How you don't take breaks from what I remember, and how have you been doing?
I'm okay. I've been busy a lot. I have a bad back. I suffer from spinal damage, so doing the show is actually the only time I ever play music. I don't practice. I don't do anything. I just turn on the thing and go, and that way it's the show is like a vehicle for me to just play a bit of music. It's ticking over. It's okay. It's not doing great. It's not doing bad. It's fun and I enjoy it.
That's cool.
So that's interesting to hear, Braves guys. So is it like because of your back damage, can you not play on a stage?
Yeah, I can, and I do sometimes, but it's just not worth it. My back pain is through the roof, so I'd rather just stay at home and play at home. It's a new challenge. It's fun, but I started recording music again for the first time
I saw that.
this month.
I saw you got an album coming out, right?
Yeah, it's a parody album called Skrank. I used to be in a parody band. It's kind of like a Spinal Tap band. We were older
That's
guys,
awesome.
and we've all given up. So Skrank is like a metaphorical drug. It's anything that's negative, basically. Skrank.
So like I'm curious. So if you go out to a stage, you gotta have this like certain posture and stuff. So playing on your by yourself and just like editing, is it the editing that allows you to be kind of more comfortable, or is it just recording it that allows you to be more comfortable than if you were on a stage?
just the comfort of being at home and everything's comfortable and easy. People don't realize that, like, when you go out and gig, especially after a few decades, you're putting equipment, or even if other people are doing it for you, a 1 hour show takes 24 hours to set up and get there and get back, and you're exhausted and you're like, why am I doing this?
I always thought that.
What about picking up an amp, dude? I used to work.
Bass amps weigh a ton. I mean, they're better nowadays, but yeah, they're bricks, man.
They are. I used to work with the Rat. It's a radio station around here, and yeah, just setting up their AV system at a gig was like, wow, yeah, you're slipping a disc. You're slipping a disc.
And just seeing, like, if you watched any videos back in the day, there's those guys, like, they're just fucking sweating, like the guys playing the music. The main guys, like, they're just like covered in sweat, and I'm like, man, that's gotta be tough. That's gotta be hard.
Yeah, it's different, like, for I guess heavy metal dudes compared to jazz dudes or whatever, but it's exhausting. And if you want to actually make a career and make money, you go on the road, and then you're away from your family for a long time, so it's hard to keep any kind of relationship steady, and then you end up doing drugs, then coming off drugs, and then writing a book about how you came off the drugs, and then the next thing you know, you're 70 years old, and you're like, holy shit, what happened? I wish I was
some more drugs.
Wish I was a mailman or something instead.
So basically, in your 70 years, what was the best drug you ever done?
Ooh.
It's hard to say. I'm not really a drug person because
Right?
I get too paranoid and all that. So I would just drink beer basically. So.
Yeah, I agree. I watched recently Steve-O talking about all the drugs he'd done, and it was the most interesting video because he's like, yeah, like, one of the worst drugs I'd done was, like, alcohol. This skit here of this video, it's really funny of me on alcohol. But you really shouldn't do alcohol. Like, all right.
Steve-O?
Steve-O from fucking
And now marijuana's
Jackass.
legal over here in Canada,
Yep.
and it's not a big deal. It's like the whole Ronald Reagan thing with the war on drugs and all that money and crime, and it just Canada's just like, make it legal, and no one even talks about it.
What's going on, bass guy, with the climate?
The climate change, I'm not left or right or anything, but I think it's pretty obvious when my town has been flooded twice in 3 years.
I was going to ask,
my ankles are in water.
Has the flooding reduced? Has it calmed down up there?
It has, but you can still see the damage from it, and the water level is still high.
Dude.
You know that whole Hurricane Dorian thing? They reported like 10 or 20 people died. I think it's something like 30,000 people died.
Wow.
Wait,
The
they
real news
reported
doesn't get out there.
They reported 20, and it was more like 20,000.
Yes, something
Dude,
along
that's
those lines.
crazy.
People are debating over it and everything, but you don't hear about it. You turn on your TV and you got the Kardashians and Donald Trump. And meanwhile, there's like tens of thousands of people who've just died from climate change, and people say that it's not real.
We got a Super Bowl. We got a Super Bowl. We don't need.
we don't gotta
That's
worry
what I want to
about
ask you too, though. Like, with all that, what will the climate strike do?
What is a climate strike?
People
It's
striking,
it's
walking
it's
out of
weird.
work.
Like I can just see it like happening in my own village, and the crazy weather's happening everywhere, and we all have our heads up around. There's no proper answer for it, but we should at least have a discussion. We shouldn't just fight each other on the internet.
Just like you said, something is absolutely going on. Something's going on. Like, seasons have not been the same in like 10
Rob,
years.
my back hurts, so I never go out anymore. And just the other
Right.
month or year, I was thinking, like, when I was in high school, all the kids gave a shit. We used to go out and we protested the Gulf War, and we used to care and all that. And I thought, no one cares anymore. And then when this Greta Thunberg thing happened, I just got up straight away. A lot of my friends dissed me. I don't give a shit. And I went out. I went to the march. I've not been downtown in 2 years, and I'm down. I went 3 hours early just for the train reasons, and I'm walking down an empty street, and then Greta Thunberg and her dad walk right past me, and I said hello to them. It was really freaky.
Wow.
So I met Greta. That was strange after not being out of my house in 2 years. So.
So Rob and Bass Guy, I'm kind of confused what you guys are talking about because Like you're talking about like I'm sorry.
Slim's drunk as
I've
fuck,
been-
and he doesn't even know what he's saying.
Okay, Slim's drunk and I'm
been
stupid, so
drinking a
we're
lot.
doing great so far.
This is great. No. It's something about like I almost feel like we're talking about manipulation of elemental. Like if a hurricane happens, like in my opinion, a hurricane just fucking happens. But whatever you guys just like stated was almost like, is there conspiracies involved in that? Like what's going on?
Well,
Don't
apparently
drink
the
anymore.
hurricanes usually storms would go by, but this one, if you remember, just stayed there for like 24 hours. It didn't even move, and that's because the Gulf Stream has stopped in a lot of areas because of the ice caps melting. I only know this because I read shit on the internet. It might not be true, so I don't know.
Right. So you feel like that's kind of like literally like a science fiction kind of thing here?
No, I think like if you like if we all try to get rid of like this whole left right agenda, third world, Western world thing, get rid of everything. Don't you think it's obvious that like there's a gazillion billion cars and companies and like it's just you can if you can walk downtown California or whatever, you can see the smog in the air. It's obvious. Our shit is everywhere. I think it's
Something is
obvious.
happening.
And you think
Something's happening.
you think the media is covering that up?
I don't know. I think the media is making money. I think everybody is making money.
Right.
I think
But-
people
but-
are
but-
scrambling to just keep make that fucking money.
But how so? So if you walk down that and you say, "Hey, there's all this fog," is the media saying like, "Hey, there's all this fog," or is the media saying like, "No, none of that fog exists. You're imagining it"?
I don't know. It's hard what to believe, eh? It's hard what to
Right.
believe nowadays. Misinformation is the big thing. Like people are actually like, there's companies that actually their main purpose is to produce misinformation to change votes around the world in different countries.
Exactly. I think the Jews should do a climate song. The
But
Jews-
all that aside, I admit I don't know what I'm talking about,
No.
and I'm not a hippie and I'm not a redneck,
No,
but I
I'm
think it's obvious that there's like
Dude.
chipmunks and frogs and turtles and shit dying, and
Yeah.
pollution is
fucking
everywhere. I
honeybees.
mean, come on, grow up, everybody.
Honeybees dying out as a whole fucking thing.
So hold on, base guys, just confirm this, and Rob and base guy confirm this for me. Like, are you guys saying there's a higher power controlling the death of honeybees?
What are you saying?
I am not saying anything. I think, in my
are you saying,
opinion, with my
Driz?
own eyeballs,
Slim,
there's
whatever you
pollution
are.
everywhere. We're over-consuming. There's no
Just being a
consequence.
drunk cunt, base guy. Drunk.
No,
cunt.
but I think Slim has points too. You know, and maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
he
Who
doesn't.
knows?
He
Is there?
doesn't, base
I'm
guy.
trying to film for
Honeybees
Lamborghini.
are dying as a fucking breed, and things are fucking up. So what's going on?
So is it aliens?
Yes,
What
yes.
are we talking about here?
Yes.
I think for people to say that we're not polluting and consuming a lot is really ignorant. That's my opinion.
All right. So you
So
think we are
I don't know about the
causing
bees and the weather and the
the
UFOs
problems.
and the aliens and everything, but I mean, let's like grow up and admit that like our pollution is everywhere. It's obvious.
I do agree with that we are kind of careless and just feel like we can do whatever we want, and we don't accept the fact that whatever we want to do might be affecting the earth.
But can I tell you just for a second, like the actual protest in Montreal, I have never been in anything like that before. There was 500,000 people in one little area.
What was that protest?
That was the climate change where
change
Greta was and everything in
protests.
Montreal, and it was the biggest one in the world so far, right here. So
Do you look at the internet? Do you see what's trending,
Nah,
Slim? No,
pay attention to
you
any of
don't.
this.
You don't.
500,000 people. That's 500,000 people. That's like a part of Woodstock walking down your street, basically. And it was pretty cool.
But
People
what
were
if-
2 miles away cheering. You're in the march, and 2 miles away, you hear people screaming. And then the screaming gets closer and closer to you. Then you scream, and everyone was in a good mood. Everyone was
You
happy.
scream,
There
I
was no
scream, I
violence. 500,000 people, completely peaceful.
So what if base guy, if all of those people were just, because you're a very attractive and sexy man, what if all of those people were just very attractive to you and they were just screaming because they wanted to sleep with you?
Well, I'd be flattered, and I'd be like, "Thanks, 500,000 people for flirting with me. Let's maybe go for a drink down at the local bar or something."
That doesn't disprove my conspiracy theory.
Well, Slim, Rob, I think you guys, Slim, you're awesome. I think you're great.
I've been drinking a lot. Basically, I love you.
I'm sure, what's his name? Steve-O would be proud of you.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to hear a 1-minute clip of my new Skrank album?
Yes.
How long do you want me to play it for? Like 30 seconds or something? Or
Minute, whatever you want, bass guy.
okay, here's a minute. This is a parody song. This is about the band wanting drugs, then the band getting drugs, and then the band coming off of drugs.
Nice.
We need a hit to get with it. He's got the shakes, but he's got what it takes. We wanna get high so we can get by. So join us, will you please? To feel at ease. Scrag.
So it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek album, and the next song is about a bus, and then the next song is about a sandwich, and I'm having fun making really stupid music.
I love it. I love it.
I think you should team up with me. I can make some really stupid music.
How's the Driz doing? I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, yo up, bass guy.
Hey man, how's it going, Driz?
Yeah, I just listened to your track and it's like kind of shitty, man. But like everything you've done's kind of shitty and doesn't like match the fucking level of the stuff that I do. And I know that you know that. Like I am the greatest in the world. Some people call me the goatee. They call me the goatee. That's the greatest ever to exist ever. Goatee. Yeah, and
I
like,
would never try to compete with the Driz, man. Everybody knows the
friend
Driz is the shiz.
I know. I just want to make sure that you understand that everything you just like presented to me, it's not doing it, man.
I just got a message from Rob saying that you're a very naughty word.
Is that like a cunt or something?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But no, you're a great guy, Driz. I mean, your beats and all that stuff, man. No one can even keep up with the articulation in your
So
rapping.
basically, I want you to understand. If you give me like $30,000, I can teach you to be like me. Yeah.
I'm ready to enroll.
Yeah. www.drizzy.
What does the Driz think about the
Drizzle.com.
environment and climate change? How dare you?
Well, I think it doesn't matter. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. I think it's not important. Yeah.
Hey, Driz, I want you to panic.
Nah, I think that sometimes it's gonna be hot. Sometimes it's gonna be cold. That's just life. And you gotta learn to deal with it. Sometimes you gotta learn to deal with the cold. Sometimes you gotta learn to deal with the hot.
Sometimes you get out of the kitchen.
And sometimes it's just warm.
Hey, Driz, one of my friends here, Billy D, is here from Connecticut. Could you say hi to him?
Yo, what up, Billy?
Do you know anything about Connecticut, Driz?
Yeah, I know it connects a lot of shit.
It's called.
Yeah.
Connect stuff, yeah. Oh, man. Can you blame us for being so messed up? Do you guys remember the early 80s?
Yeah, I thought I was back in the 70s. I kind of blanked out during the 80s.
I love your show, guys, man. You guys are having fun. You get your drink on and you say it like it is, and I feel like an idiot. I don't know, man.
No, I love you, bass guy. I'm sorry. I've been drinking a lot.
So yeah, if you want to check out my stuff, go to howtochangeyourlife.com, and I give out therapeutic life lessons on how to be a millionaire with no work at all.
Bass guy, are you still
Yeah.
doing the podcast? I love the podcast you did.
No, I stopped. I did like 3 of them, and I had like 1 view, and I was like, how come Frankie gets a lot of views? And I was like...
Dude, I loved it. I loved you just talking. It was different. It was different than the bass guy show. It was just you talking.
Yeah, I was actually I thought like that's what people, I don't know what a podcast is, so I just talked about stuff, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Maybe I should do it
did.
again.
I don't know. I don't know what feedback you got, but I personally enjoy it.
I've been stepping back from a lot of things, like I was on all these different platforms and shit, and I was just like, what the hell am I doing? So I stopped doing as much stuff, I think.
Yeah. More.
But you should go watch my show, everybody who's listening,
Yes.
on bassguyshow.com.
Fuck yeah. And YouTube.
You got to promote yourself. It's like otherwise, why are you doing it? You got to say what you do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in a band, I like to scuba dive, and I'm a doctor or whatever. You have to talk about what you do.
What do you do, Driz?
What do you do, Driz?
I rap a lot.
He does.
Nobody else in the world raps like I rap. Yeah.
So, hey, Frankie McDonald's coming up next.
He's
I'm
coming
excited for that.
next. Yes.
All right.
So are we, bass guy. Bass guy, we will have to talk soon, my friend.
For sure. And
sure.
before I go, I just want to say thanks, Rob and Slim and Slambo, for he's not there today, is he?
No, he's gone. With the
Okay.
wind.
We'll have a great conversation with Frankie, and I love you guys. You guys
Love
are
you
fucking
too.
awesome.
You
Bass
too,
guy, sincerely, I do love you. Apologize if you don't believe that.
Yeah.
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 You are the best, and you all I jerk off to every night.
The bassiest.
Okay, thanks, sweetie pie.
See you, bass guy.
Okay, are we off the air now? We're off?
Nope.
Nope.
No, we are.